Good morning, guys. I'm Chris from Feasted. Thanks to Russ, Pete, James for inviting me into today's Connect meeting, and hello to all you guys. Some I've met before, some are new. So yeah, really excited to find out a bit more about you and the stuff, amazing things you do. If you're watching this online at a later date, so yeah, please head over to our website at www.feasted.co.uk. So I'm here to share what we're up to at Feasted. I'm actually in a new space here at a secret location in the city where we're hoping to develop a new experiential dining experience all about ceramics and food. Context, after all, is everything. Next slide, please, Russ. So this is the question that, or the statement, or the hypothesis, if you like, that I put forward for what we do. Stoke-on-Trent can have gastronomy. It's just that the word gastronomy means something different here. You know, if you get in conversations with people about great food in the city, people might say, oh, we don't have that kind of thing around here, Duck. And it's like, well, do you want jobs? Do you want all the things that go alongside it? You know, more ambition around food and all those things? And the answer, hopefully, is yes. The way I look at it is over here on one side we have gastronomy, and over here we have food poverty. And if I can just get my hands in the right place, what we are really concerned with as an organisation is bringing those two things closer together. Now, there are some difficult and uncomfortable conversations to be had around those two things sitting side by side, but I absolutely believe that is the way to deal with food poverty. Food poverty is a product of human laziness. We have enough food that we throw away in this city every single day to feed absolutely every hungry person, and probably a lot more. Next slide, please. The way we're going to begin to address that is that, you know, we've done things a very, very different way around. And I could argue maybe that some of that is due to the way we started, which literally, guys, I started this business from a post on Facebook after illness. So some of it's economical, some of it's just a want to do things differently. So our business was born out, like I say, a Facebook's post. As we, in the next few years, progress into customer, client-facing operations, like a restaurant, boutique hotel, this kind of thing. Some of the conversations we're in right now about various projects across the city. It's highly, highly likely that every single one of those operations will have a commercial kitchen, obviously, but alongside that, we would have a community kitchen, because cooking, guys, you might know, potentially is a very, very wasteful process. And what we want to do is eliminate as much of that as possible. We call it waste. It's repurposing, really, isn't it? You know, no food should be waste. We want to eliminate waste from all our operations. So having a community kitchen alongside gives us that opportunity to not only repurpose some of the food, but also train more people, community projects, get people cooking, kind of like the next step beyond a food bank. Food banks have done some critical and needed work over the last sort of 12 years, but you know, what's next? And that's something we want to address. You know, for you, if you were just joining this thing today to hopefully hear a bit about the fancy, wonderful food we do, yeah, we do that. We have clients that pay for our services in a range of ways. I'll come to that a bit later on. But what we want to do is we want to tackle the breadth of food and opportunity to innovate in its broadest sense. That looks like addressing food poverty, sustainability, how we grow things, and also the technology involved in that potentially. Some really exciting conversations going on right now with some of the things that we're doing. You know, food is, it's something we all experience in so many different ways, and to take it in isolation is almost, we're missing so many opportunities. I say opportunities with some apprehension because it's not purely commercial, although obviously there is a commerciality attached to it. It's the opportunity to improve the system around food. Next slide, please. So how do we do that? I've said this before, I'll say it again. You know, the three key pillars that we structure our work around are these three things. So history, heritage, and culture. Understanding what our city is, what the people are, who they are, and what their needs are, what the history of those people are, what the cultural stories of the city are, and I'll touch upon that a little bit later on. Those things are so integral in understanding what our food has been, but also understanding what it can be in the future in terms of its identity. What I hope in the future is that people visit here to experience food that is rooted wholly in the story and the narratives of our city, kind of giving birth to our own cuisine, if that makes sense. Community, so feeding people, what that looks like across the city, what that looks like in some of those outreach areas that can be forgotten. We focus in on the centre of a city, and then we have these problems in communities around the urban geography that need to be considered too. So community projects, growing projects from sort of garden to plate, those kind of things, education, all those things are so integral in that. The final part, the third part of those key pillars that Feasted are really concerned with is the future of food. Seasonality, what grows when, where, how, why, but also food technology. Is it right that we could have strawberries all year round? What's the benefit of that? And really sort of digging deep into that to find that out. We need to embrace the technology to feed humans in the future due to quality of soil and the diminishing quality of soil due to potential outbreak of crop depletion due to infestation of various sort of invasive infections and things that can affect those crops. So there's lots of things we need to think about to structure this wider perspective of a foods or Stoke-on-Trent's food system. Next slide, please. So bringing all that together, we do provide a range of services. We provide corporate and private dining. That could be in your own home. It could be at your business. It could even tell a story about your business. One thing we're very good at doing is telling narratives around food. Weddings and celebrations also. We also do restaurant and education consultancy you might be educating your team in a kitchen. You might want them to develop knowledge of some of the things I've been talking about, make it a bit more expansive. It's really important that we also share these ambitions with young people. And I love to stand in front of a young audience and say, guys, I'm so jealous right now because the opportunity you have at this point of human development to really shape the future food systems. Wow, what an opportunity. There's not enough ambition spoken of around food. Hospitality is seen as a low-paid job. That's true for many, but it's also very well paid, and it's a great way to travel for a few people as well. So really sort of sharing ambitions of our industry and what our industry could be if we connect with those contexts around food is so integral to what we're rooted in educationally. And the last thing on there, a little space, Feast at Home. So the Feast at Home package is a dinner party in a box, 5 courses, available every month. Head over to our website to see this month's. More about that in a minute. And basically, that's available across the country, and it's really, really excellent quality dining in your own home. Great fun to put together, great fun for the family to do. Not what I've said, that's something that's been fed back to us. We've got a few great supporters at Feast at Home. Piers Linney, ex-Dragon's Den, is a big supporter of it, and he thinks it's a fantastic disruptor product. Also, Tom Kerridge's sister-in-law is really bigged it up to Tom. So, word's getting out there. We want to grow that to 200 to 300 units a month. The reason why that is so integral in what we're building across the city of Stoke-on-Trent is that once we reach those numbers, we can then, as we branch out into restaurant operations, we can create a system where we can offer work-life balance to our employees. Through rotation, they can come into the kitchen here at Spode and they can actually finish earlier, maybe once, twice a month within the city. So we'll be offering people something highly advantageous and desirable in our industry, where it's very, very hard to have a work-life balance. So we're really thinking of new ground and how we can look after our people. We talk about sustainability. Sustainability is not just about the raw ingredients that grow from the earth, although they're really, really important. It's also about those resources that are people, the thing that power our very businesses. So we need to think sustainably about that, especially in our industry, because we have been rubbish at that for decades. Next slide, please. Okay, so still telling stories with food. So the 4 dishes you can see there, the one on the left is a dish inspired by Cris and the film The Colour Room, which came out earlier this year. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's amazing. Such an innovator. Still, you look at Cris work, and it still feels really modern. So we created this dish to really sort of just play with the Art Deco elements and colour. I just put on a plate. We want to put heritage and history and maybe the future of our city on a plate, because we've had that. We've had the ceramics here for so long. We're just bringing the two together in the rightful quality and place. The second dish there is, I think I'm going to talk about on the next slide. And there's a couple others there that tell stories. The 2 on the right-hand side are from a Wedgwood event we did last Christmas, which each dish told a story of a part of Wedgwood's life, which is an incredible event, a sellout event we did at Wedgwood. It was absolutely amazing. Next slide, please. Ladice shall live. So Ladice or Ladice was a Czechoslovakian village, and it was leveled by the Germans in the Second World War. Almost everyone was killed. It's actually been the anniversary of that event this week. So this is the dish that we made to commemorate that. After the place was levelled, StokeonTrent miners and Barnett Stross, StokeonTrent MP at the time, just after the Second World War, raised enough money, the equivalent of £1 million, so a really significant effort to help rebuild the place called Ladice or Ladice, which is now in the Czech Republic. So this dish is based around a zemlovka, which is a Czech bread pudding. There's some fermented pear jam in there. There's a pear that's been poached in Cabernet Sauvignon, and then the grey stuff on the left-hand side there is a charcoal creme fraiche, which just gives an incredible texture. If that sounds weird to you, it is beautiful and really sort of balances against the sweet elements on the other side. As a chef, it's really important to balance and texture and taste and all those things. Acidity, all these things are really important. And this dish is a great example of that, but also a great example of us telling a story on a plate. So if you're not familiar with the Ladice story, it's something incredible that we did to help, a bit of a crisis in another part of Europe. The survivors, there were a few young people who survived, and they came back to StokeonTrent. They came to StokeonTrent in the early 2000s, in the last stages of their life, and gifted the city a pear tree, because the pear tree was the only thing standing after it was leveled. So that's why that's so significant. Next slide, please. So I've already mentioned Feast at Home. So June's Feast at Home is called City of Kindness. We've been out and about this month giving food away. We did it last week at the hospital. We also went into Stoke, and the amazing thing about that is connecting with people. Even if they don't take the free food, it's just like, did you know we're UK City of Kindness, voted in 2020? Sharing that idea with people, it really resonates. And we saw people who were really struggling. We saw people that were food was a massive issue for them, and they just were very grateful. We also saw people who just wanted to chat about how great and kind this city is, and people that were just really surprised that someone would actually go out there and do that. And I think it's really important that we don't just progress on our daily sort of process and question how we go about our day. If we can be kind, we must be kind. It's so important to us. It costs very, very little, if nothing, and it helps to move the city's identity forward. I think it's so important. Next slide, please. So these are 3 images from our City of Kindness menu this month. So the first one is the intro, and we say, "Hey up, duck," don't we, in this city? So this is a duck a reworking of a duck pancake from if you like your Chinese, you'll be familiar with that. So this the base of it is an oat and plum porter, Titanic plum porter cracker. Sitting on there is some duck leg, which is basically braised for, I don't know, like 8 hours or something. Some pickled cucumber on there, just absolutely delicious dish. The one in the middle is Jerusalem artichoke, which is salt baked. There's a Jerusalem artichoke puree on there, also a oat granola, so bringing oat in again. Just absolutely delicious. You'll notice that it looks natural. You know, if we're cooking with the seasons, if we're cooking and we understand ingredients, the nature should be there on a plate. So important at this level of cooking, at least. You know, the ambitious side of what we do, the gastronomical experience side. It should feel very, very seasonal, and I think this absolutely does. The last dish there is a summer treacle tart. So we've lightened the treacle with some cherries and things. It's absolutely delicious. It's making me hungry just look at it. So that's this month's Feast at Home, available now on our website. Please check it out. We're just really proud of these boxes we do every month. It's now available across the UK. We're just about to get some new packaging. On the bottom of the packaging, it has "Made in Stoke-on-Trent." Really important, that connection to heritage, history, culture. Value it beyond belief because it is valuable. And that sort of partnership of ceramics and food together is just, it's an unexplored context really in our city thus far. Next slide, please. So guys, that's just me finishing up. I've got in front of me here, I've got some little buns, and these are something we're just messing around with. And we're using oat flour in these, which give it a really crunchy texture. And these are our version of cinnamon buns, different flavors. And we're not quite perfected them yet, but we're getting close. And we're going to call these morning buns, and we're going to be selling these at some point. Just the idea of taking oats from the oat cake and really exploring it as something else, really giving it value and a sense of place. We love our oat cakes, don't we? But what's next? What's after that? What's beyond the oat cake? That's what we're thinking about. Really simple, but delicious things, that connect a sense of place, Stoke-on-Trent, and the people here. Guys, head over to our website, check us out there. Check us out on socials at Feasted UK, give us a follow and all that business. You contributing to what we're doing, even if you don't become a customer or client, what you're doing is you're helping us facilitate a lot of the training that we do in our kitchens and helping not just us as a business, but also other businesses thrive in the city. During lockdown, we have helped other businesses gain employees because they found that really hard. So that's something we've been engaged with as well. So it's not just about us, it's about the food network across the city, not just culturally and community, but also commercially. If we can help other businesses, we absolutely will. So guys, I hope that has whetted your appetite a little bit. Thank you.